Burn Nation, welcome back to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. Today we are answering your questions. We have 5 pressing questions on a special edition of an Ask Devan Anything episode. We're talking about fasting, pull-ups, soreness, weekend nutrition, and the challenges that are associated with those things. We want you to leave this podcast feeling recharged, energized, and having some more tools in your belt to go out there and tackle your health, okay? So here we go. Without further ado, enjoy the podcast. Welcome to the Burn Podcast, where strength meets science, food fuels energy, and mindset creates momentum. I'm DK, your personal trainer, and I want you to train, eat, and think differently. So get ready to take your health and fitness to the next level here on the Burn Podcast. Let's get to work. All right, everybody, welcome. We're excited to be here with you today. Trisha, this is episode 16 of season 3. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Episodes in.
I feel like we've been learning a lot as we go. I even was coming into today, and I really feel like this podcast, the episode topics are landing in a perfect point when I'm like literally dealing with these types of things in the moment. So I'm excited to get going on this one.
Yeah, me too. And for those of you that are brand new, I am DK, your personal trainer, visionary co-founder of Burn Bootcamp, along with my co-host, Trisha Pena. And we are here every week for you to break down an array of health and fitness topics that really hit the pocket for you, all right? Meaning like the things that challenge you the most and really helping you overcome obstacles. So if you're brand new, welcome. Subscribe on YouTube. Don't miss an episode. We have last week's episodes I thought were awesome. We had a couple heavy episodes early in season 3. So episode 14, we tried to lighten it up. We talked about 10 crazy facts about food.
Yeah, we did.
That was fun. And I actually learned a lot doing a ton of research for that. So I want to point you guys back to that episode. And also episode number, 15? Was a special transformation panel from Ackworth, Georgia. That one was very, very powerful. So check that out, everybody. In the last episode, 10 crazy facts about food, we had a challenge for everybody, didn't we, Trish? How'd you do? Tell everybody first what the challenge was. I'll tell you how I did.
So Devan decided in the moment to challenge us to no carbonation. And if you've been listening to the podcast, you know very well that I love a diet soda. I love an energy drink. And so in the moment I was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to do it. I'm very competitive. I got about 24 hours in and I was in like a serious meeting and I was like, I need a soda. And so I cracked a soda open.
We are so dependent, aren't we?
Yeah.
I went 6 days. No carbonation. And literally I got to the point, I'm not a huge carbonation person, but I do drink a diet soda or an energy drink, maybe like weekly, not daily.
Yeah.
And I definitely got to DJ came downstairs at the studio. I was working downstairs. It was maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I don't remember. And I hear I pop open a Diet Coke because it's literally all we have in the fridge. And she goes, "Hey, are you not doing the carbonation thing?" I'm like, oh no, I broke it. I forgot about it totally. I went 6 days though with no carbonation, and then I broke down on the. It was lack of focus. Okay, so what this challenge did is it revealed my lack of focus and my ability to sustain something for 7 straight days. And Trish, how dependent you are on caffeine. Are we clear on this, everyone?
I will say I've drank less.
Did you drink less?
I have consistently drank less. So it did bring awareness to how much I was drinking, and I definitely needed. And I said this. I admitted it. I needed to cut back. I have done that, but I have not given it up.
Okay, well, I'm so happy that you were able to go 24 hours to show yourself how mentally in control you are, and that's what this was all about. It's just a fun. It's not meant to be a passive challenge. I really want you to go out and do it, but I want you to challenge yourself and see that if you need, it'll show a gap in your character. And when you are able to, and I mean this for all of us, right? Like it'll show you how dependent you are on something outside of yourself. In your case, it'll show me how I have a lack of focus. It'll show you something else. So these little challenges that we present to ourselves, sometimes we don't take them on because we're scared of how good we could possibly be, right? We're scared of maybe that subconsciously we could do it. And if we did do it, who might we become?
Yeah.
And we might become a person who, isn't dependent or is ultimately focused.
Yeah.
So it's revealing.
Goals.
Is my point. Okay. We're going to keep doing fun stuff like that here on the podcast, everybody. So take the challenge. Can you go 1 week with no carbonation? 1 week with no carbonation. We learned on our last episode that it's not the carbonation that is really the culprit of poor health in like a diet soda or an energy drink. It is the phosphoric acid. That's what we want to stay away from. That's what happens when you pour a Coke or an energy drink, a Monster on a engine. It'll clean the engine. It's the phosphoric acid. It's not the carbonation. But no carbonation for 1 week is something you can do to test your challenge yourself, challenge your character. All right. Okay. Let's see. Trish, we came across a video. We came across the video from Cooper Cup. I sent this to the Teams thread that we have for the production of the podcast, and you wanted to talk about this. Let's go ahead and roll the. Actually, why don't you set it up first? And then we'll roll the clip, and then we'll react to it, because I think this is a really important thing for people to remember.
Yeah, well, I think, Devan, as we're getting ready for this podcast and doing our own research, I'm always coming from the lens of how do I approach things and what am I learning? What questions do I have that maybe outside you guys might have the same questions? And so I'm asking Devan here. And I've actually gotten some people more recently in my DMs talking to me about them feeling the same way. So I'm glad that it's resonating with you, because that is my primary job. So as we were talking about mastering mindset, which is the topic of this and a couple of different questions that Devan's going to go through, what can we bring to surface? And so when Devan shared this episode of Cooper Cup, I just really felt like there's nothing better that I think we could have shared to really bring to light what it takes to master your mindset. So if we want to go ahead and roll this clip.
What I'm going to say, people are going to hate. They're going to hate to hear that this is my mindset, but you have to not care what happens. You have to not care what the result is. Right? Get completely past this place of the wins and the losses. Get completely past what the stats are going to be at the end of the day. I work from Monday to Saturday to make sure I prepare and do everything I possibly can to be the best Cooper Cup that I can be on Sunday. The things I eat, when I show up to work, the film I'm watching, every piece of it, I'm as intentional as I can possibly be. Once I step on the field on Sunday, it doesn't matter. I've already done everything I possibly can to be in that moment. All I can do is attack it, and the results do not matter, because I've done everything, right? So there's so much as a receiver, especially so much out of my control, that I'm just going to be the best me that I can be, and the rest is let the rest be what it is. God's written out what this day is going to be already, and it's out of my control. I'm going to attack it. I know that I get to play from victory, not for victory, and that anything that happens after this game, it's already written. So the worst thing I can do is look back and be like, oh, why didn't I go after? Why didn't I try it?
Okay, so Cooper Cup, I love this take, and he's an NFL wide receiver and a very good one at that. I thought this was just such an interesting take, because you're an NFL athlete and you have all eyeballs on you, and that's the take that no fans want to hear.
Yeah.
I don't care is basically what he said.
Yeah.
And it's not that he's saying that he doesn't care about the outcome. He actually cares about the outcome so much that he is willing to override this tendency that we all have as human beings to worry about the future or to be defined by some outcome, when in reality, and I have this 2 words on my wrist. My wife got this for me for my birthday. It says, be present, because I ultimately struggle with this as well. It's we so often can be fixated on what the outcome is going to be and what people will think about the outcome, when the best thing we can do to control the outcome is to be focused here, now, today, where your feet are, to prepare yourself the best that you possibly can, and to give everything you have to what it is that you say you're going to do. And what he's saying is, I'm not worried about what happens on Sunday or what people say if we win or if we lose or if I drop a ball. I'm never going to get in my own head, because I'm not attached to that outcome. I've officially let go of the need to be desired from other people, because I know that my self-worth and my self-esteem comes from one place and one place only, and that's from myself. And that's because I show up every day, the food that I eat, the film that I watch, the practice reps that I do. These are the things that I'm making promises to myself that I can control. And I'm not only checking that box, I'm filling that box on a daily basis. I know that I'm doing the best I possibly can. So whatever the outcome is, I'm going to live with that outcome, because I'm present every day doing the best that I can. Such a powerful message.
So powerful.
And I love this clip, and we wanted to share it with you. Because today's episode is just, it really is a random 5 questions that we pulled in a classic kind of Ask Devan Anything style. If you've been with the podcast for a long time, you've heard this before. It's like, we'll just pull questions from Burn Nation and we'll bring them on the show and we'll discuss them and we'll react to them. And I just thought that this was such a important yet broad enough topic that really sits over the top of all 5 questions that we have today. Mm-hmm. And it's just this philosophy and this outlook on life that says, be here, be present, control what I can control, and give up my identity in association with some outcome.
And it's so hard. I feel like sometimes I'm doing so good in life, but I'll be honest with you, I said this at the beginning, I have been struggling the past week with my mindset, with telling myself negative stories or just being, I was feeling tired, but I actually was feeling really sad and almost depressed. So I really liked what Cooper Kupp said because it's something that we just need to remember. And I'd love to ask him if he was in this room, do you always feel that way? Or are there moments in time where you still even struggle to let go of that? Because I know it's hard just to be human and to go through just life can be challenging at times.
Yeah, I think, let me take a guess at what I think that he would say. You want to play that game?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's play that game.
We should tag him in this and see if you're right.
I think what Cooper Kupp would say is that when I was younger, I used to have bad weeks because of a bad game. And now if I have a bad game, not only don't I have a bad day, but I'm over it in the moment. And it used to be I would hang over for a week. And now when I drop a pass, I've practiced this so much. I have this repetition in this backbone of self-worth that I'm not going to let that pass define me, because whether I've been defined by catching it or dropping it, that's other people's opinion, and they don't see what happens in the dark room when I'm alone.
How hard you're working.
And how hard I'm working. So I think he would say, when I was younger, yeah, I'd have a bad game or a drop pass would last a week or more. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm a bona fide professional, I drop a bad pass and I'm on to the next pass immediately.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I'm still a human. So for a brief moment, I'm pretty upset or frustrated that I dropped that pass.
Yeah.
But I'm quickly on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into the podcast, we have an Instagram post I wanted to show you guys, because this is what Burn is all about. This member has been taking our creatine supplement, and she had a little testimonial. And here's what happened when she started taking creatine. You want to show this post, Chelsea? This is just incredible. This comes from Orchard Park, New York. Okay, check out Allison. This is her journey taking creatine in under 4 months. She has lost 4.2% body fat and gained 5.5 pounds of muscle. Let's go. That's what it's all about. Gaining strength, staying lean. That's the best way to feel confident and athletic about yourself. Listen, just a bit of consistency along with some creatine was the extra punch that she needed. All right. Sometimes we all need that extra little bit. When you start taking the Burn Bootcamp creatine, you're going to start feeling stronger. When you start feeling stronger, you're lifting more weights. You lift more weights. You start that, you break down the muscle, like we talk about on the podcast all the time. Okay. And that creatine is really going to give you that, extra strength boost to get those extra reps so that muscle can be broken down to build up through nutrition. Okay. So you couple creatine, you could go to the website and get our creatine, Burn Nutrition Creatine, use the code POD10. There it is right there. POD10 at checkout. And by the way,
she's so pretty.
This takes a little bit of time. This isn't a magic pill.
Yes, that's true.
You take it for 30 days and you're going to really start feeling the effects of it. Allison, great job. What a beast you are. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Orchard Park. All right?
Go, Allison.
We're getting into it today. Trish, why don't you introduce the first question that we have today in the meat of our podcast here?
Yeah. So the first question is, what's your advice for women who train hard but still don't feel strong mentally?
All right, I'll answer that question, but I know that you felt this way before, so let me hear from you. What is your experience with this?
Oh, I think to me, it ebbs and flows. If you guys hear me, I'm normal. I'm human. I'm going through life every single day I think sometimes I have to stop myself in my tracks and think just how blessed I am. And I feel pressure from being a mom. I feel pressure to show up as my best self for my team. But pressure is a privilege. And I have to think about the type of pressure that I have truly is a privilege. And I'm so thankful. But I think that that's also hard because I train really hard. But sometimes I don't feel strong mentally. And I think sometimes that's, to me, I've learned that that's normal. But what I need to do is talk to my friends, get out of this maybe feeling of the stories that I'm telling myself that I'm not mentally strong. And then I overcome it. And then I have really good moments where I'm feeling strong in the gym and I'm feeling strong mentally. So for me, that's my personal story is I'm trying to get better at what Cooper Kupp was saying. And I have noticed that. I mean, I've just recently over the weekend, my son, he was playing football and he had to go to the ER because he had an incident on the field. And I, normally would have probably gotten really sad and emotional about it, but I caught myself in the moment because I'm getting stronger. I'm getting to know myself better. So I do think I'm getting better and I'm making progress. And I think it's good that you acknowledge your progress, but I'm not perfect yet.
I didn't know that something happened. What happened on the football field? Do you want to talk about it or no?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
So both my kids play, my older two, I have 3 kids. My poor third child. I have 3 kids, but my older 2 boys play football, 10 and 9. And my 9-year-old was in the first quarter and he is a tackle and he plays defense. He's a cornerback and he made a tackle. And if you watch Pop Warner, when they tackle, it's like a big dog pile. And so the dog pile happened. And of course they all kind of get up and there's one kid left on the floor. I'm like, oh man, I hope he's okay. Well, it's my kid. And I'm like, oh gosh, Deegan, get up, please. I'm by myself. My husband's at a different game with my older son and he's not getting up. And so the medic comes over and they're working on him, which felt like forever. I mean, mom mode, if you're in your kids play sports, you know that it's you kind of your heart stops, right? He finally starts to get up and the medic goes, I think you need to take him in. And I'm like, okay, what happened? I need to know what happened. He got throat punched. So he couldn't breathe at first. And then it was really hurt. So, and he's had a couple other health things go on. So the next day we had to take him to get an ultrasound because he had some other things going on. So it's just a lot of heavy stuff for your kids. I mean, as a mom, you just know your heart just sinks whenever there could be something wrong, because there are moments when you never know when it's going to be you and you get some kind of news that is going to completely change your life. And so of course, those are the stories going on in my head, what's going on? I just want everything to be okay, right? Praying that everything's going to be okay. So that's what happened was, a lot of heavy stuff from a mom lens that I really feel like if I didn't have the mental strength, I could have really gone down because I have had a couple other things that led up to in the week prior from a work perspective that just had me feeling a little sad. And so it could have taken me down this path, but I really tried hard not to let it do that.
Well, life will keep coming in those waves, and the reality is that we're grateful and thankful that he's okay.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case, and rightfully, to be emotionally distraught is a natural human reaction. But here's the thing: when we talk about mental resilience, we talk about why you show up and why you work out hard. It's not just for muscles. It's not just to be strong. It's also this mental resilience that you accumulate in compounds from the collective confidence gain from all of the workouts, all of the times you've said yes, all the risk that you've taken, the bold steps forward that you weren't certain of the future, all of these things, build up, and you start being the person that when tragedy does happen, that people can rely on because you're mentally resilient, and you're not somebody who's going to, if something happens tragically in your family, that you're going to crumble, and you're somebody that other people can rely on, and that's, in an alternate universe, he maybe wasn't okay, and he needs, mom to be there and to be strong for him. And so I just think it's a great story, and thanks for sharing. So what's my advice for women who train hard but still don't feel strong mentally? First of all, this is so normal. It is almost by default. I trained Brandy Parker. I wrote about her in my book, Stop Starting Over. She started at maybe 370 pounds. We lost 200 pounds-ish in a year and a half. Year 1, she lost all of the weight, but still wasn't there mentally. She would still come into the gym, a completely different human on the outside, but also she was still trying to get there mentally. And she would often say, like, what's wrong? How come I'm not like progressing more mentally? Look at me physically. Shouldn't my self-esteem be aligned with like what I see in the mirror? And the answer is it's absolutely not supposed to be that way, right? Because the muscle adapts through tension and rest, and that's on a 24-hour cycle.
Yeah.
But the mind, we talk about this word neuroplasticity all the time. The brain adapts through uncertainty and reflection, which takes weeks to create these neural pathways. We talked about a metaphor one time, since, you know, your husband is in NASCAR, you're a racing family, like the grooves on the track that drivers run over and over and over. Those pathways, they're tried, they're true, they're solid. We know we're going to take those pathways and get a certain outcome. That's the same thing that goes on in our brain, but it takes a while for these neurons to wire together, fire together, to unwire and unfire together. And the science of all of this kind of this intuition, right? Our gut intuition is, why am I not getting more mentally strong? I thought this was supposed to make me mentally strong. I still don't feel like an emotionally strong person, even though I'm physically strong. Just expect that.
Yeah.
You have to expect that there's going to be one that leads the other. The confidence that you gain from a physical workout, it's tangible. It's right there. I can be like, pull up my pink dumbbells post, Chels. Like, I posted this. Oh, they're purple. These are purple dumbbells. Somebody a long time ago brought 5-pound dumbbells into the gym, and I ended up taping them to the duct taping them to the ceiling, just having fun and having a joke. It wasn't anything to be offensive. It was very funny in the gym. And she kept bringing them in. So I duct taped them to the ceiling because our milk, our water jugs, this jug I have on the desk that I have a gallon of water in every day, it weighs 8 pounds. So we're lifting things in our life that aren't going to be practical.
Your kid.
Yeah, like your children and things like that. But also, more importantly, you're stronger than lifting 5 pounds. I know you can lift 5 pounds. I'm not going to help you get more mentally and emotionally resilient if you're seeing some weight on the ground that you think you can do, that you don't think you can do, and then saying, I don't think I can do that, doubting yourself, getting into the doubt, and then lifting the purple dumbbells still. Like, my whole job as a trainer, our job as trainers, is very, very simple. If I could say it in one sentence, it'd be the following. Trish, answer my question, play along with me. How many reps do you think you can do, Trish?
5.
I think you can do 7. You willing to do 7?
I guess.
We're going to try. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. That's all my job is to take what you think you can do and then one-up you just enough to where I know you can achieve that goal, right? That's the mental and physical lag playing out real time. When you're in the gym and there's a 25-pound weight that you know you can curl or that you don't think you can curl, but deep down, if you just picked it up, you could probably do it as many times. You probably could pick up even heavier weight.
Yeah.
We're not giving ourselves enough credit. You're stronger than you think you are.
I was going to say, I was trying to think back on my own journey and how long it took me to like really feel mentally strong. But if you think about it, there's still those small wins where I don't feel like Brandy's giving herself probably enough credit for how mentally strong she's probably becoming and doesn't even really realize it until it's those key moments of like you're in a job interview for a job that you never maybe would have thought you would have gone for and you crushed it because you have this newfound confidence. So I don't know. I do think that if you're feeling like Brandy, think about the small ones because those matter too.
And so it lasted another year with Brandy, and then she really started catching up mentally. So it just takes a little bit of time. And what you have to start doing is actually synchronize. It's called congruency. So like you're synchronizing your heart and your brain. So like what logically goes on in your brain, like you're a different human being, but your heart doesn't quite feel that yet. And so it's about this mind-body connection and just giving a visual pathway to your heart and to your head and aligning and meditating on mantras, which are basically just belief systems. And if you're somebody that used to say like, I overeat and I can't stop, then it's like, no, I can stop overeating. I actually don't overeat now. And I'm not somebody who is an overeater. I'm somebody who in my former life, which will always be a part of me, overate food, but that doesn't define me as an overeater. And you've got to repeat that and meditate on that and have it front of mind and seek that out as a way to live life. Because if it's not front of mind all the time, you're always going to go to default mode network. That's a psychological principle. It's where we will go. It's the memory tapes that we play back to ourselves that have no conscious awareness to it. It's just this preset subconscious conditioning that was installed in us by our parents and our environment.
Your safe space.
It's your safe space, and you'll just go back there, and you almost like if you don't go back and edit the movie script, you have to actually go back and edit this tape that you're playing over and over, and it takes time and it takes intention. This is why I love meditation, and meditation is part of my protocol as a personal trainer and a human transformation expert. I'm getting you into meditation because I know that's where we're going to break this wiring. And if I can break your wiring and rewire new patterns that are healthy for you together, we're going to make some breakthroughs, because you are what you think about. Life is mental.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because so all this happened on the weekend, and then on Sunday I was like, man, I'm really tired. I'm going to go to the gym. And I think that was my way of knowing that I could have laid on the couch and I could have scrolled TikTok and like whatever, took a nap. But instead I went to the gym, and I felt so much better afterwards, obviously, right? We always feel that way. So I think, is that my rewiring happening to where probably old me might have been like, I'm going to go and just like scroll TikTok and just be mindless, is kind of what I used to tell my husband. It's like, I just need to like not have all this overwhelm right now. Instead I went and like kind of overwhelmed my body.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to use a metaphor, and this is a weird comparison, but it's a relevant comparison. So I'm training my 2 German Shepherds right now. And the key element to the training of their behavior is to mark bad behavior and mark good behavior. So I mark bad behavior with something that doesn't make me excited or doesn't make them excited. In their case, it's a collar. It's a shot collar.
Yeah.
And then I mark good behavior with a reward and a treat. And so when it comes to humans, we're the same way. We have that same reward system. And it's about identifying the behavior that isn't empowering and marking it with a feeling, with a negative feeling, and intentionally embossing a negative feeling with that, associated with that behavior. So that when you go to it next time, your pathway that you're creating is, oh, this behavior neural pathway says this feeling bad, because I started to associate me eating at midnight with a picture of me that I never want to see again. So I hung that picture up in the pantry, right? And so now every time I go to do that behavior, boom, I'm reminded of that thing that I don't want to be. And that's where the intrinsic motivation is going to come. And the exact opposite. Like put a picture of what I do want to be over by the fruit bowl and go over there and, and associate that with this positive, happy, optimistic version of myself that I'm dying for. So, the dog training metaphor is just like marking good behavior and marking bad behavior with negative and positive emotion alike.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. Let's go to the next question. What's the next question?
The next question is, does fasting actually help fat loss, or does it just lower calories?
Woo, I love this one. Okay. All right. I love this one. Okay. So, fasting, does it actually help fat loss, or does it just lower calories? First of all, calories are king, and it's the foundation to everything. Second of all, fasting helps fat loss beyond just caloric restriction or deficit because of the hormonal effects of food. And this is something not a lot of people talk about, that fasting gets this almost feast or a famine kind of mentality with it. Like, if I'm fasting, it's this thing where like I'm restricting myself from food completely. I am eliminating my options. I'm ultimately punishing and demanding this of myself, when really, to me, fasting itself is a discipline of exercise. It's a exercise of discipline. It's something that you would embark on to test yourself and test your discipline, more so than you would, which is ultimately a test of your character, than you would to lose some body fat or have some arbitrary weight loss goal that you want. Okay. There's better ways to get to your fitness goals and to your aesthetic goals than fasting. There's more consistent, kind of even keeled ways. But if you're listening to me right now and you're like, DK, I need a reset. I've had enough. Broken promise after broken promise after broken promise. I keep lying to myself, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. I don't like who I'm becoming. It's a moment in time for me where I'm at a low. I'm at the lowest of a low. What I like to use fasting for is to break somebody out of that. Because the reason that you get into these mild depressions or deep emotional ruts is because and hang with me here, please, is because everything becomes about you and your needs. It becomes about you and your needs. Notice anybody who's getting mildly depressed. I, me.
So true.
I never get this. The world never treats me this way. I don't have it as good as they have it. This is what's happening to me. Poor victim, poor victim. Now I'm on your side. I'm not trying to make you an opposition if you're somebody that's thinking this way to say you're a victim. I'm not calling you a victim. I'm just saying you need to examine your victim behavior.
That's so true.
Right? I'm not saying you're a victim. Examine your victim behavior. And if you're somebody that's there, the best way that you can help yourself getting out of that is to eliminate, is to, how would I say this best? Is to remove not only your wants, but also remove your needs. So if I completely remove my own needs, then there's nothing for me to be selfish about anymore. So food, right? Food itself, if I can eliminate food for 24 hours, you're not in danger of a long fast. Okay. You can go 24 hours without food. I mean, you can raise your red flag all you want for a 24-hour fast. There's science on science on science on science. It's okay. Every human being can handle a 24-hour fast without food and without water, by the way, and you're going to be perfectly fine. But I never fast without water. But my challenge to you would be if you're somebody who is in that place, you're in this place of like, I've tried all the strategies. This is a time where I'd like to say, okay, not only are you depressed because you're not getting your wants in life that you want, but you're perfectly comfortable because you have all your needs. You're perfectly comfortable playing the victim. Let me strip that blanket away. And for lack of a better term, let you like experience what it feels like to be just without a blanket, without an emotional comfort. And if you do that for 24 hours, what happens is your perspective starts to change. You start to do something that you once thought impossible. You had no control over your life because you're emotionally going in a spiral that is synonymous with losing control. 24-hour fast, what that does is it gives you control back.
Yeah.
It lets you know who's in charge. It proves to yourself that you can hold a promise and break it. So that's the reason I like doing it. Now, if we're going to get into the science behind fasting, fasting works through the hormones, and it's not magic. It's just hormones. It's all insulin. It's when the insulin levels drop, and insulin is your body's storage hormone. And when you have a high level of insulin, you're going to store fat. You have a low level of insulin, you're going to burn fat. We've talked about this on the podcast before, but glycolysis is burning sugar. That's the body's number one preferred source of fuel, and lipolysis is burning stored fat, the number two source of fuel. So by improving your insulin sensitivity to insulin, you're going to improve the fat oxidation along with it. And so it's not that the law of calories is broken. It's that the law of hormonal effects of food is maximized when you're in a state of fasting. And at the end of the day, though, I will say calories still is the foundation of gaining and losing, not just weight, because weight fluctuates with gravity, but mass. Okay, so mass. So now the last thing that I'll say is why I incorporate fasting on a daily basis for me is two reasons. It's not to lose weight. Number one, it's because I'm busy and I have a hectic schedule and I don't want to have to worry about food all day long. And number two is from the scientific perspective. That's the more practical perspective. From the scientific perspective, I know what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is I'm teaching my body to be metabolically flexible, which is an ultimate marker of health. If I can switch between burning sugar and burning fat for fuel, glycolysis, lipolysis, I can switch that on and off. I can get in and out of ketosis. I'm now metabolically flexible, which means I am in control of my hormonal function, my hormonal state. So no, we don't need to be doing some like dramatic 7-day, 3-day, 5-day fasting. That's a whole nother one-on-one scenario, whether that's right for you or not. But I'm a believer that every human being, and then I want you to react to this. I'm a believer that every human being should incorporate what's called an overnight fast, or at least a 12-hour break, 7 p.m. when you eat dinner to 7 a.m. when you eat breakfast, a 12-hour break so that you can recover, so that your body can get back to homeostasis, that you can reset your 11 major systems, and you're not constantly feeding your body, doing one thing, most importantly, spiking insulin, especially when you sleep, if you're getting up and snacking, because that is going to be the storage hormone that says store these calories as fat. Okay? So overnight fasting, but if you're somebody that wants a challenge and you're somebody that's in a rut or you're like at the rock bottom, man, for me, if I ever feel like that, all right, Devan, 24 hours, you can do this. No food, no matter what. Make a decision. Prove to yourself you can do something. You can plant your flag in the ground and actually follow through on it. That's, to me, what fasting is all about.
I think it also helps. So I go back to even just what happened in the example of this carbonation challenge that Devan proposed to us. And I only made it 24 hours, but my end result was I'm drinking less caffeine or less carbonation. The same thing goes when I'm trying to, I guess, go more into restriction for calories. I am just now realizing I will intentionally go and fast for about 24 hours, maybe a little less, to kind of get myself in that mindset of eating less. So I do think it also sets you up for like just knowing that you can do that. So then when you go and you eat less, it doesn't feel as restrictive as maybe you were once before if you were just, down in, whatever, McDonald's, fries, whatever. If you can give yourself a little bit of a reset, it does make going into that calorie deficit, from my experience, a little bit easier. And then you just get used to it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for sure. So, and then if you do happen to do an intermittent fasting, like which I said, everybody should be doing that, in my opinion, because I just have read all the science I could possibly get my hands on, and I've worked with thousands of people who, if there's one common denominator of why people would not get to their weight loss goals or their body fat loss goals, it would be because too many consumption of calories, which usually came from the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight.
Yeah.
And if you could just control yourself from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day, it's just such a game changer. Even fasting in this instance where it's overnight fasting, it should feel like freedom. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't feel like restriction or control. The purpose of fasting isn't to put your body into some state of punishment. It's to sharpen your focus so that you can really simplify your choices. It shouldn't be this complex thing. It should be easier to eat at like less times in the day. It should be less complex. And should really be something that you feel good on, and you shouldn't be fasting if you feel bad on it. You shouldn't feel it, then we probably need to fix your underlying nutrition.
Yeah.
Okay? Anything else on fasting, Trish?
No.
Okay, let's go to question number 3. I like this one. This is a good one.
Let me read it?
Yeah.
All right. How can I improve my pull-ups without using bands forever?
All right. Trish is a trainer, everybody.
Oh.
She's been a trainer. And do you still have your CPT, or did you now that you are
I let it expire, but I'm
the head marketing?
I really wanted to get it back, and I actually got on the mic like a year and a half ago because I was like, I was going to do this, and then I just didn't. But I really want my CPT back because I want to be able to say that I am a trainer.
Well, you were formerly known as.
I was.
So let's. Why don't you take a swing at this question, and I'll try, because I feel like we're going to have a very, very similar answer. So if I'm somebody that wants to improve my pull-ups, and I don't want to use these bands forever.
Yeah.
Right? These bands aren't made for you to use them forever. Trish, you've had hundreds, if not thousands, of camps on the mic. Mm-hmm. When somebody's on that pull-up bar trying to get their first pull-up, break me down real quick.
Well, first of all, it depends on obviously where you're at in your journey, right? Because then that's where we're going to start. So if you're on 2 bands, let's go to 1 and let's do a hold. Like the hold and consistency is the name of the game for me, is go up there. And you always hear it right at the end of camp. They say, go up. If you're on the bars, pull up rig, go up and hold for 10 seconds. It's because it's actually making you, use those back muscles so they get stronger. So the hold and then the slow decrease down is what I've always told people. And if you just do that, and you have to be consistent, stay after camp, book a focus meeting and do a performance focus meeting with your trainers, because that to me is the name of the game. I think we do program them more often, and obviously they were part of like a mesocycle, so we're doing them consistently in camp, but that's the only way that you're going to get better is by doing them consistently and doing your hold. And then from there, you're going to start to see progress. And then I will say, just to add to that, creatine, I had my 3rd baby, and I went from being able to do like 8 pull-ups to 1, and I wanted to get more. I started consistently going to camp, consistently taking creatine, consistently working on my pull-ups, and I went from 1 to 5 in a month. So I'm just saying, like, the proof is there and you can do it. So Devan, I don't know, did I do okay on that?
You did great on that. And by the way, I want to show the creatine again on our shop, because Trish mentioned creatine. You can get your creatine now at shop.burnbootcamp.com. Enter code POD10. You got to take 5 grams of creatine every single day along with the shake. Get it in anyway, anyhow. We love our Burn Boot Camp creatine. It's going to help you increase your performance and your mental clarity as well. You want to get stronger, got to be taking creatine. I love that you've talked about that during pull-ups, because sometimes that is the actual like supplementing. Once you get to a point where your strength starts to plateau, you got to incorporate different strategies, and that can be one of them. And I thought you nailed it. I thought you hit the nail right on the head. Time under tension. Yeah. What? Okay, here we go. Members of Burn Boot Camp Nation, listen up to me, okay? If you are doing 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you're doing 5 pull-ups with a band on your feet, then the following advice is for you, okay? You never get to use a band again, all right? What I want you to do is, instead of doing 5 pull-ups with a band, what I want you to do is do a hold at the top of the bar, chin over bar, not touching bar, all right? Bending that bar in half, sticking your back elbows in your back pocket there, holding it, time under tension for 5 seconds, and then lay yourself down for 5 seconds on a negative eccentric. Have a box at the bottom, put your feet on the box, jump back up, do it again, do that 5 times. I know you can do it if you can do 5 assisted pull-ups. You can do 5 eccentric negative pull-ups as well. That's going to be the time under tension you need to get your body used to holding your body weight. All right, so here's a metaphor. You ready for the metaphor? Mm-hmm. Once you put your training wheels on a bike, you can ride them. It stabilizes you. Once you're going, a certain way and you're pretty stable, you can go like maybe a half mile. You're good to go. We're going to take the training wheels off. And then what happens is the training wheels never come back on, right? You're going to crash a little bit. You're going to burn a little bit. You're not going to be able to hold 5. You might be able to only do 1 negative pull-up at the beginning. But that's okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Stick with it. Time under tension. Even if how long can you hold it up there for 1 rep is going to be more beneficial, going to get you to your pull-up goals much faster than if you're continuing to keep those tricycle wheels on your bike. You're never going to learn how to do the actual movement down the street with no training wheels. Make sense? Say yes?
Yes.
All right, everybody.
Devan, you actually have a clip from
we do.
episode 415, way back. When you did a focus meeting with David Duncan, you actually explained this.
Oh, great. This is awesome. We'll put episode 415 in the show notes for you as well, so you can go back and listen to the episode. Roll this clip of me and David. 4 weeks, put 1 blue band on your feet, or it could be a gray band. And I want you to go to the top of the pull-up bar, chin over bar. Do not touch your chin on the bar. Squeeze your elbows in your back pocket and hold it until David's hands and back literally give out. The second 4 weeks, now you're going to do the same thing with no band. And then the last 4 weeks, you're going to hold for your PR, and then you're going to do a negative rep, which means now you're going to lower the eccentric motion for 10 reps. The last 2 weeks, this is when we are going for full reps. Put all of your energy, all of your effort, everything that you would have into all of those holds into 1 rep. Gear yourself up for it. Get up there. Get a little crew around you. Have them chanting, "Let go, David." Get some adrenaline. Get up there and go crush it. And I think that is exactly. That's okay. So we got it. Let's go. There's a little routine.
Yeah, I like it.
Yours, thank you, Chelsea, for finding that. You're a wizard. Well, you do so many podcasts, you just forget about, I obviously am consistent with my advice, but you forget what happens,
that was also over 100 episodes ago.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Okay. All right. So that is your answer. Anything else to add to that, Trish?
No, I have to shout out Patrice London, though. She is a trainer in Burn Nation, and she was here for Burn You, and she had me do that because I failed out. So even if you do have your pull-ups, I still recommend that you do that. I know I do that when I fail out, and she had me do the hold and then down and then right back up. And let me tell you, it's not only going to help you with obviously your back strength, but that's a good workout. When you just hit the box, you go right back up. It's good stuff. So challenge yourself, guys. And you can catch me if I'm in your workout at your local Burn Boot Camp. You can catch me if we're doing pull-ups, doing this with like everybody. I'm just like, no band. I'm just pulling training wheels from people. And remember,
the theme of today's episode is you're stronger than you think you are. The response from that, just that little belief, that little encouragement that I give to somebody by saying, hey, that band, you're too strong for that band, right? I don't say stop being weak and stop using a band. I say, you're too strong for that band, framing it positively. That little bit of encouragement, trainers, gives that member such a boost, right? And from that adrenaline that they get, they're going to perform that for you right away. And then they're going to prove to themselves how strong that they actually are. Because remember, it's default mode network that our mental worth, kind of lags behind our physical prowess. Yeah. So
I can say it has been years of me working out and just always being active. I was never able to do pull-ups until I did that. And finally, once I started at Burn, I was actually able to get unassisted pull-ups, but never over, I've been working out for 20 plus years and just never able to do it until I started doing that.
Yeah, well, hey, shout us out. Shout us out. If you're somebody that's a Burn Bootcamp member and you've mastered your pull-ups, if you've maybe gone from up in a band or gone from a band to being able to do a bodyweight pull-up, let us know in the comments on YouTube here. If you're new to the podcast and you're listening on Apple or Spotify, we're trying to get our YouTube subscribers to like 100,000. That's our goal. That's our first goal. Mm-hmm. We're a long ways away from that on the podcast channel. On the Burn Bootcamp channel,
we can get there.
We're like very close, aren't we?
Yeah, we're only like 900 away. That's it.
But on the podcast channel, we're pretty far away. But we need your help, okay? We need your help. Subscribe to the channel, and you're gonna get all of the good stuff we have here in the podcast. All right, we're going to question number 4. Are we not?
Yep.
Yes, we are. Question number 4.
All right. Question number 4. If I'm sore every day, am I overtraining or just getting stronger? It's a great question.
Here's my philosophy on this. Okay, soreness itself is feedback. And it's not going to be a sign of you failing or failure. It's just feedback that you did the right thing. That we did a podcast, Chelsea, I don't know if you could find this one. We did a podcast on pain management. And it's actually an old Ask Devan Anything episode. It was the scale of pain management that we use in corrective exercise science that basically says, all right, if you go to the doctor's office and you see those little charts that's like the emojis and the smiley faces from 1 to 10. You have that. You have that same pain scale when it comes to fitness. And there's a difference between soreness, what we call DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, right? That's the body's natural signature that you've done your job and micro damaged your tissue so that you can rebuild it back using muscle protein synthesis. We talk about that here as well. But this is like the mechanical tension, the lifting itself is the stimulus for the growth. You should be getting sore. Now, you shouldn't feel pain. Yeah. You shouldn't feel a sharp, my shoulder, that hurt. Got to set the weight down. You shouldn't feel that, but you should definitely feel the workout. And if you're not feeling sore, my friends, that is a sign that you are not going heavy enough. Okay, let me say that one more time. If you are not feeling sore, it's not that the program isn't working anymore for you. It's that you have the symptom of the show, the central theme, that you aren't mentally as strong as you are physically strong. You can go pick up those 30 pounds when you keep picking up the 15 pounds. You can go pick up the 30s, and you need to in order to feel sore because your body has already adapted to that 15-pound weight, and you need to introduce a new stimulus. And when you do that, I promise you that you'll be sore again.
Episode 511.
511 is the one we talked about. And that's an Ask Devan Anything episode. We go into the pain management scale. So if you're interested in pain management, there's a science to it. You can go, if you have a knee, an ankle, an arm issue, fingers, go there. Listen to that. Get it right.
I do have a question. So one time I PR'd on lunges, walking lunges. I was so excited. And I was like, I'm going to feel sore the next day. And people were like, actually even DMing me, like, how sore do you feel today? And I was like, I don't actually feel sore at all. And I was not bummed because I know that doesn't mean I didn't make progress. But is there a world where maybe I like went for enough walks that day to where I loosened up the lactic acid? And I'm actually genuinely curious.
No.
I just could have gone heavier?
Yeah. Okay. Or been engaged, your tempo.
Okay.
Sometimes if you aren't engaged with the muscle and you're just purely going for power.
Yeah.
Hypertrophy, maximum muscle growth and engagement, and power are two different goals. It's different, right? So if I'm going for hypertrophy, I'm going to be much more intentional with my movements. I might I might not be in a 90-pound lunge. I might be in a 70-pound lunge. Am I trying to PR? Okay, is that the case? How is my form? What am I nose over toes on my lunge? Am I what other parts of my body am I moving? So, and also, because I was going for power, did I get the volume?
Yeah.
Because soreness is a volume equation. Sets times reps times weight is volume. So if you did 90 pounds for not a ton of reps, you're not going to have the same output of volume as you were if you went maybe a little bit less but did a ton more reps.
Yeah.
So it could be either one, but I will tell you, Trish, if you are not sore, the goal better be to PR that day, not necessarily to create hypertrophy, because they're two different goals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought maybe I just
You can do both. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So you can still do the 1 rep max PR, but then if you know that's all you got, then just go like maybe 10 pounds lighter and do more reps.
Yeah, I want us to really focus on PRs.
Yeah.
Right? Focus on PR, because you're going to have all the, like going heavy, like lifting for the amount of reps that we have next year in 2026, for example. It's going to be a rep scheme that we follow all year long, and we'll repeat on these mesocycles. And you're going to have 15. You have rep weeks of 12 and 10, right? You're going to have these cascading rep schemes throughout every rep cycle, and we're going to still have this volume equation. As our repetitions go down, we want our weight to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I think it also helps you just the mindset, and I'm kind of getting off topic, but I do think, and this might be helpful for anyone out there, because I was stuck on 45 pounds for my lunges for like a year, maybe longer. And then we introduced PR week, we introduced mesocycles, we introduced this concept of like actually focusing on your PR. And I went to PR with 80 pounds for my lunges. So I went from 45s to now I can do 8 reps with 80s, which is in both hands. Well, I doubled my weight, and I can do 8 reps now.
Yeah.
So I went from 1 rep with 80s, and then I would go down, because I knew, I was like, well, if I can do 80, then that means I should go to 60 instead of 45, my trusty old 45s. And then I gradually just went, now I can do 80 and 8 reps.
My theory is the following, that what it took is just a focus on PR for you, that you could have done that the whole time. But the beauty of having a program with PRs that are incorporated into it, with human movement patterns and having specific outcomes and goals, is because our mind likes to work as like a heat-sinking missile, where we focus in on something and we lock in on it, and whatever we're locking in on, whatever we focus, we'll find. You've heard that before. Whatever you focus on, you're going to find, or whatever you focus on, you're going to feel. And if you have this PR mindset, well, we need to put our attention towards something. That's where we're putting our attention toward, and that's literally the beauty and the magic of PRs at Burn Bootcamp, is that it's just, all it is doing is calling your attention to this movement to say, hey, you're going to show yourself how strong you are with this specific movement. And that's just the psychology of it too. Because you could have probably done those 80s all along.
Yeah, probably. I just didn't. Now I can.
It's all good though, but that's what we want to do.
I love it.
That's what we want to do. Helping you overcome yourself is part of the job of a trainer, right? Because if you can overcome what weight you think you can lift, then you can overcome belief systems that are negative and disempowering. You can overcome emotional dysfunction or dysregulation. You can start to turn bad days into maybe just bad hours, maybe bad hours into just bad minutes, maybe bad minutes into just bad moments. And maybe you have a lifestyle in which you don't experience any negative emotion. Or if you do experience negative emotion, it's here today, like here this minute, gone in the next. So that's the goal. All right. Let's move on to, let's see. Do we cover everything we need to on that question? Yeah, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
If I'm sore and I'm overtraining, yeah. You want to be sore every day. You want to help that? Protein up, sleep up. It's not about overtraining. It's about under-recovering. About how little that you recover. Never giving your nervous system a break. All right? So, don't sprint every day. That's why we have splits at Burn Bootcamp. All right, question number 5. Let's go. Last one here.
I feel like this is a question that
we saved the best for last, everybody.
The majority of Americans have had, or people in general in the world. So the question is, I eat clean all week but lose control on the weekends. How do I fix that feeling without feeling deprived?
Oh, this is a good one.
It is a good one.
This is a good one. This is a classic scenario. This is a classic scenario of somebody who asks the question, how do I navigate eating clean all weekend and then ruining it? How do I navigate eating clean all week and then ruining it on the weekend? Mm-hmm. Man, this is a good one. Okay, let's dive into it. I wrote about this in Stop Starting Over. And it's this idea that I got from baseball of being too high and too low, or patting yourself on the back too much when you're doing well, or getting too down on yourself when you're not doing well. Or you could also conceptualize it as going all in or all out, like being somebody who identifies or has a belief system that I'm a person who is all in or all out. You might also think about that as being someone who's an absolutist. Like I speak in this way all the time where everything is one way and it's not another way. This cascades into catastrophizing in psychology. We say when you believe that the sky is falling. Well, eating clean all week long and having this goal to just eat clean, and if we define that as I don't go off the beaten path at all, I don't modify my healthy routine at all, I am egg whites, I am bland grits or oatmeal, I am boiled chicken, I am
Calorie
baked
deficit.
chicken, I am in calorie deficit mode in a big way. I'm restricting my calories because clean to me means eating less and eating whole clean foods. I'm somebody who my definition of clean and what clean eating is needs to be amended. This is when we get in trouble, because what we do is we become an absolutist. We become a triple down, all in. I'm counting every single calorie, every single macro down to the second decimal place. I'm going to eat my body weight in grams of protein. So I weigh 142.25 pounds. Therefore, I need 142.25 pounds or grams of protein. And if I don't get that, then wow, I'm thrown off and that wasn't clean. And I did. This is a real, there becomes an obsession with calories, an obsession with macronutrient ratios. And any time that we go too far one way or too far the other way, too alkaline or too acidic kills the body. Too absolute in one way, too absolute in another way cannot be good for you. Living even keeled is the only way, and not oscillating between a definition of the weekend and the week, meaning that you're not breaking down such a short time frame when it comes to context of eating food, which is something you do every day. We have about 30,000 something days in our lifespan on average, and 7 days out of 30,000 is a very, 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 very small window, small fraction, a small lens for you to look at, for you to judge yourself on whether you're doing good or doing bad, eating clean or not. And so if I'm somebody who every week I have to like make this balance of like, oh, I got to eat clean because like, the weekend's coming and like, I know I'm going to do bad on the weekend. So like I got to eat clean this week. If you're anticipating that you're going to screw up on the weekend, then you trust me, go on a campaign for the bad behaviors in your life and you're going to find them. If you're somebody that's like, I'm going to eat clean so that I can live it up and I can do whatever I want on the weekend. And even if you're like subtly have that behavior, like I'm going to eat clean this week because I want to go out this weekend. Like, even if that's your behavior, you're anticipating the future. You're literally setting a campaign for this bad behavior. Don't be surprised when it actually happens. Go back to my pink dumbbell post. There are so many people on this pink dumbbell post that they are campaigning for their own mediocrity. This was an interesting post because something that I think so obvious. There's a whole handful of people out there that are like, no, this is, what are they? I don't even know what some of them were, but they were talking about, not everybody should be lifting heavy dumbbells, and there's reasons why you shouldn't, and because of this reason and that reason why I lift dumbbells that are lighter because I don't want to be this, and you're projecting you onto me, and you're a man, and you're not. Women aren't small men, and we shouldn't be lifting heavier weights, and we don't want to be bulky, and I'm like, great, fine, okay. If you're gonna campaign for your own weakness, you're gonna find it. If you're going to campaign for yourself to be somebody that isn't doesn't challenge themselves, doesn't step into the unknown, doesn't have any like positive association with the uncertainty. Like, if you don't want to overcome doubt, I can't believe in you more than you believe in yourself. And if you're going to campaign to stay in the place that you're in and you don't like it, then you're going to complain. It's like, if you campaign for a bad place you're in, you're going to complain about it. And it just feeds this cycle over and over and over and over and over and over. And I was getting even like trainers to like feed off of this and say, oh, hey, here's the CEO of Burn, like, or the visionary Burn saying this one thing about why, you know, women should never lift less than 10 pounds ever. And here's why we don't do that. And here's why we do have these dumbbells. I'm like, okay, if you're going to campaign for your own shortcomings, then you're going to go find somebody that can boost that up for you, that can have your back and say, hey, you know what? It's okay that you're not okay. It's okay to feel this way. And then inside you're like, I'm not okay. Why did people around me keep telling me that I'm okay? You're going to reinforce, you're going to get yourself around people that tell you that it's okay to be okay. You're not going to feel that way inside. And you're just going to attract what it is that you focus on. Whatever you focus on, you will find.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's a little rant on this one. But if you're somebody that, I'll bring this back to what the question is. If you're somebody that is going to have the mindset that I'm going to do more than just modify my healthy diet on the weekends, and then you end up being in this cycle of eating clean during the week and then screwing up on the weekends, well, it's because you're setting your life up that way and you're campaigning for yourself. So let's maybe take a different approach, a different perspective. The way that you can eat clean on the weekends and eat clean on the week and just be somebody that eats clean is to have a different definition of what clean actually means, and to do two things. Figure out where you need to be in a caloric deficit, 100, 200, 300, 400, at most 500 calories under your total daily energy expenditure. Go to tdeecalculator.net, enter your information, select light activity. It'll spit out a number. Take a couple hundred calories off that number, 200. Just never go over that amount of calories. And if you just do that all the time, regardless of whether you're going to live it up, regardless of whether it's going to, now you're giving yourself what I call a boundary to live in every day.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not this definition of clean that you have during the week, and then there's no boundary. It's such a tight boundary during the week that there's no boundary. So have a reasonable boundary that you follow consistently all the time, and take your time frame in which you look at success in this health regard and back it away from 7 days and look at it more at like 90 days at a time.
And I would say reframe what's helped me reframe what feeling deprived is, right? Because that's what you're telling yourself, that you're feeling deprived, but like, are you? No, just because you're not out there eating whatever it is, a McFlurry or whatever ice cream every single night, and you're only having that then all on the weekends because that's what you're telling yourself you're feeling deprived. I kind of challenged myself to like find healthier versions of like things that I really liked, like sweet treats. And I went to the kitchen and I started making my own little concoctions that had protein and no sugar, and that still made me feel happy. And then that wasn't me now feeling deprived, because now I know I wasn't actually feeling deprived. It was just a story that I was telling myself because I was feeling bad for myself because I had goals, and hey, in order to hit those goals, you can't eat ice cream every single night. It's just not possible. So I think going back to what you said, that's why it resonated with me so much, is when you are feeling depressed, the story is always I. And I think it's the same thing here. It's just, you're not feeling deprived. It's just what you're telling yourself.
One of my favorite things to do if I'm not feeling my best is to help other people. And I know that this is something that people who aren't feeling good have a hard time with, because they say, if I am not feeling good, how do I transfer something that I don't experience myself? I feel that if I can't help myself, how can I help other people? And I know that that's kind of a natural place to go, but I'm here to tell you that if you want to get out of it, help somebody else. I mean, some of the happiest moments that I have in my day are helping Flint, because she is somebody that really needs help. And confides in me. And, you know, anytime somebody can look at you in the eyes and genuinely ask you for your help, when you feel as a human being that you're needed, it does something to you about your self-respect. It gives you this little sense of worth, because we all carry this invisible sign around our neck that says, I want to be important. I want to be treated with respect. I want to be admired by other people. I want to feel needed. I want to have appreciation from others. We all have that human need. And when you actually help somebody who's looking at you and genuinely is like, can you help me, please? Mm-hmm. I'm somebody who is hopeless, and you can just give them a little bit of help, give them a little bit of hope. What that starts to do is it starts to inspire you that you as a human being have worth in other people's life. And that gives you a little bit of momentum that you need. So if you're feeling depressed, man, go to like a food kitchen and serve people all day. Like, I hate to say it, but get around people that are in a worse situation than you and help them out. Because it's going to give you perspective, and you know you're really going to be somebody who feels what I'm talking about. You're going to feel the self-respect. Okay, so I love these little grab bags where we have 5 questions and we just get to hit on different topics. If you have any questions at all, like I said, we're on YouTube trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Comment below, all right? If you comment below and you ask a question, what we'll do is producer Chelsea, is going to select those questions. We're going to feature you on the podcast. How about that? We can do that, Chelsea, right? But you got to be on YouTube. You got to ask your question in the comments on YouTube. Any question that's there, we're going to feature it. That's our promise to you. And hopefully we get so many of them that we just have episodes where we just got to bang through questions left and right. I know our momentum is just getting started on the YouTube platform. Help us out if you're somebody who listens to us, Spotify or Apple. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Please help us out, because it's our oxygen. It's what keeps us moving. All right. And if you guys enjoyed today's episode, I'm going to preview next week's episode. All right. Episode 17 is going to be an interview with Burn Boot Camp, our very own Ashley Beasley, our lead trainer, Lake Norman, the legendary,
she's amazing,
the mystic, Ashley Beasley. She's got some mystery around her.
She does.
She does. We're going to bring her to the podcast because we want you to get to know Ashley.
Yeah. If you've never worked out at Burn Boot Camp Lake Norman, she's amazing. We all love her so much. So can't wait for you guys to hear her episode.
She trains the vast majority of the trainers inside of Burn Nation through Burn University, leads up our flagship gym at Lake Norman, and is just an amazing human being, going to be here to inspire you. And then next week, also episode 18, we're going to go into what's called the obesity paradox. All right. And we're going to really explore kind of a macro topic, talk about personal responsibility, or is this whole thing that we're in a broken system? All right. It's going to be a really interesting one. Trisha, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's been really fun.
Likewise, DK.
All right. Everybody, thanks for your time. Appreciate you. We'll take it out like we always do. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.